Let's join our next guest, Denise O'Sullivan, who has 80 Ireland caps and 11 goals and is, I'm delighted to say, with us now this morning. Denise, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You're back in Cork at the moment, are you?
I am. I've been back now about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Because before Christmas you were on loan with Brighton.
I went on loan, yeah. It was around September when I went to England, and I finished up on the 21st of December. That was my last game.
Okay, and you're on loan from North Carolina, is that right?
That's right, yeah, the Courage.
Okay, and what was the rationale behind the decision to go on loan to Brighton, and how come it's finished up?
Well, last year, obviously, during the pandemic, the league a full season didn't really go ahead. We played a bubble tournament in Utah, and after that, obviously, I had international duty coming up, and for me to be able to travel back and forth, I would have had to quarantine for 2 weeks when I got back to the States. So I would have missed a lot of games with the Courage. I would have missed a lot of training. So I spoke to the club and we came to the decision, and they fully respected that I should go to England and try and get game time there. And as well as that, I can play for my national team, which was really important at the time. And I decided I only wanted to go for a short-term loan because I wanted to get back to the Courage again for the season to start this year.
And when does that season start?
I'll go back probably in the next 2 weeks, and pre-season starts February 1st. They're planning to do the bubble tournament again, and then the season will start in May, full season.
Okay, right. So, and you're there then for the whole year. How much longer is your contract with the Courage?
I have this year left, and then there's an option year. So we'll see. We'll see after this year, then I guess. How it goes. You
obviously love it there. Like there's a commitment to go back there. I guess you know the Women's Super League is booming at the moment, and I'm sure there would have been an opportunity there for you if you wanted. But you must really like the lifestyle in Carolina.
Yeah, I do. Obviously, England was a great experience, and I could have stayed there, but I think my commitment was to the Courage, and I have a contract to do for the next year, and I'm really committed to the team. I've improved a lot from being there. Being surrounded by some of the best players in the world, and then Paul Riley is the coach, and he's the one that really believed in me from the very start. When I was at Houston, and I was probably at my lowest point in my career there, not getting game time and being so far away from family, and then the Courage came knocking, brought me there, trusted in me. They said they'd give me game time, and they did, and I've really kicked on in my career since then. So I'm very happy to be there, and it's a great environment. The demands of training is very, very high. It's very tough, and I think that's why we win championships, is because of the way we train. So I'm very excited to go back there. Before
we get into what happened at Houston, can you talk to us a little bit about how you end up getting over to the States in the first place?
I was with Glasgow City, obviously, for a good few years, I think 4 years before I signed for Houston. And we actually, with the national team, we went to play the USA in America. And after that game, my representative got a phone call from the Houston staff saying that they were interested in me. And to be honest, it's always been a dream of mine to go and play there in America. So it was kind of an easy decision for me. But I think at the time, a lot of things were happening at home, and I didn't really want to leave. But at the same time, it was a big opportunity. So I just went and gave it a go, and it's really worked out in the end. Eventually, because
you mentioned there were some struggles at Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. First year was fine when I went there in 2016. I was under Randy Waldrum, who was the coach at the time. He gave me a lot of game time. I settled in really quick. The girls were so nice. And then Randy left. A new coach came in, and different coaches like different players, and I just wasn't one of those players that he liked. So I was on the bench, coming on for the last 2 minutes of games, going into Irish camp, not confident at all. I remember we had a game against Scotland. I was under Colin Bell at the time, and I just remember my game, I wasn't in form, wasn't confident on the ball, and it was after that game I decided that I'm going to go back and I'm going to speak to them and tell them I need to move because I wasn't happy there and I needed to get more game time.
When you have that conversation, Denise, are you thinking to yourself, this is America done for me? Did you think you were coming back over the Atlantic full time?
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually thought I was going to Germany. I actually had a deal over there and I was almost done. And I remember sitting in a coffee shop in Chicago, and I got a phone call from Paul Riley, and he said, so you go out on a waiver list when you get waived, and that's a list that you can be picked up within 24 hours from any other team in the league. So to be honest, I thought, look, I wasn't getting game time. I'm not going to be picked up by any team. So this Germany deal was almost done. Paul Riley called me and said, we want you to come to North Carolina Courage. We'll give you game time. You'll get better. So I said, all right. And I was on a flight 2 days later, all my bags packed. So that's how it worked out.
So you were on the waiver list. Obviously, you've got 24 hours to pick you up once you appear on the waiver. I presume that had Houston actually realised that was going to happen, that they might have looked for a bit of compensation, or how does that setup actually work?
Yeah, when you go on a waiver, you're literally a free agent, so they didn't look for anything at all. They just let me go. At the time, thought I was going to Germany, but I just got picked up within the 24 hours, and I don't know, Houston were probably a bit surprised that I was going to another team, the NWSL, but I had to look after myself at the time, and that was the most important thing.
How much does that experience motivate you, proving that coach wrong in Houston, proving that club wrong, essentially putting you on the waiver and thinking that you actually wouldn't get another club in the United States?
Yeah, motivates me a lot, but I think, Houston gave me the opportunity to play in the league, and I'm grateful to that club, but going to the Courage has really pushed my career on, and just looking back now, not having confidence in myself at the time, thinking no one would pick me up in the league, and then one of the best clubs in the league actually picking me up, and I'm going on there, and I've almost started every game with them. Obviously I had to work really hard when I first got there. It took me a while to get into the team. I didn't expect the training to be so tough, and the environment to be so demanding at the time, and it took me a while, but I finally got there, and now it's absolutely amazing there. I'm just going to keep getting better as a player, I think.
When you talk about the environment being tough, is it the standard of training? Is it the physicality? Is it emotionally tough? What was the most difficult thing about it?
I think, the standard of training is very, very high every single day. I think if you have a really, really tough training session, I think it's actually harder than a 90-minute game, if you ask me. So I think that's why we win championships, and because we train so hard, and the players around you set examples, because some of them are the best players in the world, and the only thing you can do when you go into an environment is follow their lead. So I think I look up to those players, and then you have Paul Riley, who is one of the best coaches in the world for women's football. He's a leader to the team and to all the girls, and we follow him, and he's created a fantastic environment, and he holds each player accountable every single day, and I think that's why we get better as players, and it's just an overall great environment.
Is there a difference in the standard, a difference maybe actually in the culture, now that you've played in England as well as playing in the United States? Is the standard in training, as you mentioned there, very similar?
I think it's different, to be honest. I think it's more tactical training in England, where you walk through things a bit, and the coach tries to, make you learn a bit more. And I think within the Courage, you're just training full on. It's basically never stopped. Maybe a day before the game is where we would go, or 2 days before a game where we go and walk through set pieces and stuff like that. But throughout the week, training it's full on. You're playing games, you're just working really hard, and I think that's the biggest difference within it. It's just how much we train, and then the tactical side of the training in England. I would say that's the difference.
Right, that's interesting. So you probably become a better player in that setup in the States then?
Well, for me, yeah. I want to train full on. There's times I don't want training to be stopped at all, because once you get into that rhythm, and you just want to keep training and work hard. But I think the environment there is absolutely top class, and I have gotten better since I got there, and I think there's more room for me to even get better. So I have to go back there, and with a strong mentality to try and get into the starting 11 again. I have been in the starting 11 the past few years, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go back there and walk straight into the team. There's going to be new players come in. There's going to be players that will leave. So it's going to be a different environment again, and it's going to be a new challenge. So I'm going to go back there and, you know, work as hard as I can and get into the starting 11, hopefully.
I know you said in the past, Denise, it was kind of hard for you to leave home to go to Scotland at the time. There was one move abroad that didn't happen initially because you just wanted to stay at home for another year. So what's it like to actually be back at home now and to be spending a little bit more time in Cork?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think as I get older, I just want to be back here more and more. But yeah, once you're away, you know, you do miss family, and especially being in America, it's tough with the time difference. So it's hard to catch them during the day at a right time as well. So to be back here is fantastic. And, you know, I'm surrounded by, obviously I'm in a big family of 10. So everyone's really here every single day. I get to see all my nieces and nephews. So it's something I cherish every time I come back here, just to spend time with them. But I'm excited to leave and go back and start training again.
What's day-to-day life actually like in Carolina? What you know? I had to look it up. It's in Kerry. Is that where the stadium is?
It is, yeah. It's in Kerry. It's really cool there. It's a chill city. We all live in an apartment complex, the whole team. 5 minutes from the stadium, basically. So that's really cool. We're all together. We only have to drive 5 minutes to get to the stadium. And, you know, it's a nice city. There's a lot of coffee shops there, which I absolutely love. We all love going out and, you know, doing that kind of thing together. So it's really nice. I've missed it the past few months, so I'm excited to get back there.
We've had Amy O'Connor on the show a few times, Denise, and she speaks with such pride about being from Knocknaheeny and how that patch of Cork is what made her essentially such a great sports person, the culture that existed there. I guess the amount of people around who were eager to play sport. Do you look back on your time being brought up in Knocknaheeny in a similar way, that without that place, you wouldn't have become the player that you were? Because I guess there's just so many minutes, so many people around to actually be playing with and to graft, I guess, as a young footballer.
Yeah, definitely. Knocknaheeny has made me the player I am today. It's helped me a lot growing up there. For years, I played with a boys team, and I think that's really, really helped me physically. I used to be out in the field in my park from the time I finished school at 2:00 till 8:00 at night. My mum would call me in for something to eat, and I would be non-stop out there playing with the boys, playing football all day. And, you know, it just makes you stronger, you know, more eager to go. And then I joined New Farm Boys team, which was fantastic as well. And I just worked my way up from there. You know, just being surrounded by people here who are very motivated. Not much resources here. It's tough to, you know, to go out but look, I went from, I don't know, a little girl here playing in the fields, you know, using hoodies as goalposts growing up here to becoming a professional football player. So for any young girl here and boys that want to become professional football, you know, you just have to work hard. You have to graft every single day, and it's possible to come out of here and, you know, do good things.
What was that transition then like for you when I presume you got to a point and it's like you can't play on the boys team anymore? Were the resources there for you to be able to keep developing when you move over to a team that was just you and other girls?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much around me at the time. There was no girls' teams, to be honest, so I'd always have to travel out and, you know, and then I joined Wilton United. I was under Pat Bowdren and Steve Lynch, absolutely fantastic coaches, and, you know, they done a lot for me, really a lot for me growing up playing with that girls' team. And I think leaving the boys' team was hard because I used to love playing with them. It was such a challenge, and it did make me better, but yeah, at 12 years old, you have to move on then and, you know, join a girls' team. But I developed a lot at Wilton United. I was surrounded by really good players there as well. And then I moved on to the Cork team, which was, you know, I just kept going up the ranks. And for me, it was just about hard work and consistency. And I wanted to play for the national team. That was the goal. And I finally got there. So it's going well.
Look, we should probably talk about how the national team are dealing with the heartbreak of not qualifying and what that whole process has been like. Do you ever get over it, really?
Nah, definitely not. it was probably the lowest point of my career, and I think it was the lowest point of everyone's career on that team. It was absolutely devastating, honestly. But I think we look back and, you know, they're the types of heartbreaks that make you stronger and make us better as a team going forward. I think we have a lot to improve on. I think we're getting better, we're getting there, but we still have to improve on being more clinical in front of goal, cutting out, you know, little errors in games that we concede goals against. But yeah, it's been tough, and I don't think I'll ever get over that night, to be quite honest. We were so close yet again, so close, but we still didn't qualify. And, you know, that's the main goal for myself and the girls, is to get to a major tournament. And we just have to really look forward now, and we have the World Cup qualifiers coming up next September. So I think we have to change our mindset and just do our best going forward, get better as a team, clean up on the things that we need to improve on, and, you know, just really push on and try and get to the World Cup.
Like the history of the men's team was getting very close, dodgy administration, bad refereeing, getting very close, a playoff, and it was like a long period of time before, you know, as a country, we haven't qualified for many tournaments, but some group had to be the first group to do it. And we know obviously the men did it, and they qualified in '87 for the '88 tournament. Your group has to be the first women's group to qualify for a tournament, and you must feel that that's the thing that keeps everybody going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, that's the main goal. We all want to qualify for a major tournament, and as you said, it's been such a long time since a group done it, and I think this is the group that are well capable of doing it. So looking on to the World Cup qualifiers, that's the goal. But against Ukraine, we were so close on getting there, and it was just such a shock and disappointment at the end when we didn't get there. But we want to do it for our fans, and I think that was the most. Every single person in Ireland was behind us that night, and that's what we cherish as players, and we want to give the fans something to look forward to as well. So it was very disappointing and heartbreaking for everyone that supported us up to that point and that night. But hopefully they'll keep supporting us and get behind us and get us to a World Cup.
I think they will. I think that bond has been made now and forged, and it doesn't go away. You know, once you get the Irish public on side, they're with you for life. So, well, listen, Denise, we wish you the best of luck. Safe travels back to the States, and thanks a million.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
It's Denise O'Sullivan there, with 80 Ireland caps and 11 goals.